Yes, sir. Welcome in, everyone, to a brand new edition of the Dream Wager, episode 295. Today is August the 12th, 2023. Beautiful Saturday morning here on the East Coast, and I am your host, D-Rock. Joining me, my partner in crime, our NBA guru, Elvis Acosta. E, how you doing today, kid?
I'm doing great, deal. Lovely Saturday morning. Should have a good weekend, packed show for you guys, and your boy got some plans, so hopefully it's a successful, good weekend.
Yeah, beautiful day. We're getting to that fall weather where it's not too hot, not too cold. So very enjoyable these past couple days with the weather. But yeah, loaded show for you guys. We continue our two-a-days with the Eagles and the Giants. Great interview with Adam Rosenberg. And we got some plays on the diamond as well for everyone. But not a lot that happened over the week. Only one signing in the NFL. Veteran Justin Houston signs a one-year deal with the Carolina Panthers, up to $7 million, $6 million guaranteed. I think that's a pretty good deal. You know, he's been in the league since 2011, most notably played 7-8 years for the Kansas City Chiefs. He was an all-pro for at least 3 or 4 of those years. Had 2 solid years with the Ravens in 2021 and 2022. He had actually 9.5 sacks. Now that I'm looking at his numbers, he had a pretty decent year for a veteran in Baltimore. But you like this signing for a young Carolina team?
Still, I think it's a great move. I understand you're not getting the Justin Houston you wanted possibly 4 or 5 seasons ago, but he's still pretty productive, like you said last year in Baltimore. Still had a pretty good productive season. I expect him to have another good season moving forward. Do I expect 9.5 sacks from him? I don't, Dill, but do I think he could mentor that front young team and possibly lead in places in a year or two from now? Absolutely. So I
Yeah.
think it's you add them to bring veteran leadership in the locker room and to just guide these young dudes, and maybe he could possibly make some noise on the field as well.
100%. And I think they've been really dying for that leadership veteran presence ever since Luke Kuechly retired a few years ago. So you bring in a guy like Justin Houston, who, I don't know, you and I were talking before the show. Is he a Hall of Famer? Is he not? I mean, just looking at his numbers, he has 402 tackles. He has 111 and a half sacks. He has 19 forced fumbles. The guy has 5 interceptions.
Super Bowl ring.
He has a Super Bowl ring. Let's not forget with the Kansas City Chiefs as well. I mean, I could make the argument a lot of less accomplished players have got into the Hall rather than Justin Houston. So I don't know if he will be a Hall of Famer, but I wouldn't have any complaints if he did wind up going to Canton one day. How about you?
About the same deal. Like, I'm not gonna argue it. Is he gonna be a second or third ballot? Possibly not. But could he make it fourth or fifth ballot? Yeah, possibly.
Possibly.
If it's a weak class coming out, I think it's a chance. But realistically, does he get in or not? I'm gonna have to lean more towards the no. But would it be a shocker if he gets in? What am I gonna argue it? No, absolutely not. I think
No.
at some points in his 12-year career, he was a top 5 linebacker in his
Mm-hmm.
position at some points. Not throughout the entirety. I'm just saying, like the 2012 season or 2013 season, he had 20 sacks. So he
Yeah.
be having some seasons where you have double-digit sacks, and then he have some seasons where you just look, average.
Yeah, you're right. I think some seasons, like you said, from 2012 to 2024, he was on a tear. 15 sacks, 12 sacks, 22 sacks. Then he kind of dropped off 7, 4, 8. Then he backed up to 11. He hasn't had double-digit sacks since 2019 when he was with the Colts. So not too bad, but I do like the signing. Only a one-year deal. He's worth the $7 million as well. So good veteran presence for that defense in Carolina. We'll talk about Carolina, I think, very soon. I think they are the next division we'll talk about in the NFC South. So can't wait to do that. By the way, Tuesday we had Hard Knocks, first episode with the Jets. Very surprising. I guess my first thought was Dalvin Cook wasn't in the episode, which, he was there. And I thought they were going to put him in the episode, but maybe we don't sign him now. I think it's like more of a luxury than a need, I thought the relationship with Aaron Rodgers, I think that he's showing a personality that a lot of the public like myself a few years ago didn't think that was him. And I loved it. I thought Robert Salah, I like Hackett. Hackett's actually a really funny guy as well. The no look passes. I love the chemistry on the defense as well, all the young bucks and everything. So I thought it was a good episode. My first reaction was, damn, the New York Jets are going to win the fucking Super Bowl. That was literally my first reaction. But what did you think? I know I told you to watch it. You actually forgot about it.
Yeah, I actually forgot about it. I ended up watching it the day after, so it's not like I watched it Wednesday night. Still, to be honest, one thing I could take away from it is that Zach Wilson has a better no look throw than Aaron Rodgers. It's
Uh,
just going off footage that I've seen on Hard Knocks. He does still. Let's just be real. Uh, and then going back to the Dalvin Cook thing, Dill, I think you guys are set in stone with your running back group. You got
mhm.
Brees Hall, you got Michael Carter Jr., right? Or Michael
Yeah.
Carter the third, whatever. He's good. Like those are two pretty good backs. Like I feel like you don't need to unless Dalvin Cook's about to come in for like $4 million deal 1 year, psh, by all means. But I think Dalvin wants a long term 3-4 year deal, upwards $10 to $15 million a season. And I don't think the Jets are in that market as of right now. You got two good running backs, and we all know who's the whale you want to go get come trade deadline. So to me, it don't make sense to pay a running back while you got two good young ones on rookie deals all this money while there's a chance you could get the best wide receiver in football come trade deadline. So to me, it makes sense though not to go after Dalvin Cook. I know you would have loved to see that. I know a lot of New Yorkers and New Jerseyans would love to see that happen, but I think you're asking for too much too soon if you're asking for all that star power to come in one off season.
And the more I'm watching it, the star of the running back room, because the sense is that he will be ready for week one. But Zonovan Knight, Bam Knight, remember him? He's been the star of camp. Everything that I've been reading, he's been better, and he's actually listed as the second running back. So I think, God forbid, we do get Dalvin Cook. I think Michael Carter Jr. is gone. Like we'd cut him at that point, just because Bam Knight has shown us a lot that he's the star of camp so far in the running back room. But I guess the speculation come week one is Brees Hall will be ready. So I agree. It would be nice, but it's not a need. I think we need Devontae Adams or another receiver come deadline. So overall, I thought it was good. Just the chemistry. I love Quinn Williams. I think that defensive line, it's giving our offensive line some very good looks and a good defense to go at every day. So hopefully we get prepared. And, I love Hard Knocks. And remember, the Jets control, that was the little snippet where they were like, okay, we'll allow you to come in, but we get the final say of what you could put out there. So maybe they didn't put some things on Hard Knocks for a reason, but I can't wait for episode 2. But Elvis, let's get to these plays. We'll start on the diamond. Got a lot of games today. We got a doubleheader in New York, the Mets and the Braves. I think about 16 or 17 games on the slate. I have 3 plays, but I'll let you start it off. What is your first play of the day, kid?
Dill, we're gonna go out the country. Our first play of the day. Let's head up to Toronto, Canada. Dill, the Chicago Cubs facing Chris Baskett in the Toronto Blue Jays. Toronto Blue Jays are minus 112 favorite. Over under sitting at 8.5. Dill, give me the Blue Jays on the money line. I'm just gonna take the better team at home. Chris Baskett's on them. I understand Steele's going for the Cubs. He's a great pitcher. Don't get me wrong, he's having a tremendous season. But this Toronto team at home, I expect them to take care of business. So give me the Toronto Blue Jays minus 112 on the money line.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is a good spot for Toronto. Cubs are playing some good baseball. These are one of the 2 best pitchers right now in Justin Steele and Chris Bassett. Especially, you want to back Bassett at home and really not on the road. So I like that pick for you. My first pick will be, where should I go first? I'll start with my dog of the day. Give me the fucking Kansas City Royals, baby. Plus 142 I see plus 138s out there right now. To be honest, I'm not even a Steven Matz fan, even when he was on the Mets, especially on the road. I get he's improved since July, but he hasn't improved that much where he should be this big of a favorite. Cardinals, they played a little better since All-Star break, but still 5-5 in their last 10. On the road, 26-32 straight up. they split their two games, these two teams, back in May, and the Royals blew them out in the first game. And then the second game, they only lost by one. So Cole Raggins is on the mound for the Kansas City Royals, and he has been as good as you can get coming over from Texas. He's only allowed 2 runs in 17 and 2/3 innings in his first 3 starts with the Royals, and 2 of those 3 starts have been in Kansas City, and his hard hit rate in those games, 18% and 13. And he's not playing like bad lineups either, pitching against bad lineups, against the Rays and the Mets. As bad as the Mets have been, they do have a decent lineup that could explode on any given day. So I feel like if Raggins can continue to limit batters and pitch well at home, I think he gives them the best chance to win. So give me the home puppy. I'll take the Kansas City Royals with plus money as my first play. What do you like?
Dale, I'm gonna follow you with that one. Let's head to Philadelphia, Dale. Minnesota Twins taking on the Philadelphia Phillies, Dale. This is my dog of the day. Give me the Philadelphia. Well, Philly sitting at plus 104 on the money line. Over under sitting at 9. Dale, give me my dog of the day with Walker on the mound. Philadelphia Phillies plus 104. Winners of the last 4 out of 5. Twins lost 4 out of the last 5, Dill. You just got to fade the Twins in this scenario. I understand Lopez is on the mound. He's good. He's good. But this Twins team is just falling off the face of the earth the past few days. And after getting demolished yesterday, 13-2, I think you got to roll with Philly in this scenario. And the fact that you're getting at plus money just doesn't make sense to me, honestly.
Yeah, I like Taiwan Walker at home, and for him to be plus money against a Twins team, hey, don't look now, but Cleveland Guardians could come and win that division. They're only 3
Yeah.
games behind, so yeah, watch out for the Twins. They're not playing good ball when you want to be playing good baseball. So no, I agree. I think I get the price, but Taiwan, they are a better team, Philadelphia
Yeah.
Phillies. So
Especially
I
the
will,
last month of the season.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that play a lot. The next game I'm going to take is we'll head out west between the Rockies and the Dodgers. 9:11 Eastern start time. Dodgers over a $3 favorite, plus 250 for the Rockies. Over under is at 9.5. And that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the total. Basically, going to fade both pitchers in this spot. Just look at Peter Lambert's last 2 starts. His hard hit rate in both of those games have been over that 40% mark that we look towards. 9 runs given up in 8 innings, and walks have also been an issue for him as well. You can't do that against a team like the Dodgers, who have rattled off 7 of their last 10 games. They're averaging 6 runs per game in the last week. It's just not a good recipe. And to be honest, I'm not a big Tony Gosselin fan either. You know, he's given up 4 or more runs in 7 of his last 9 starts. So Dodgers should win, but I think this game we could see a kind of a shootout here. You know, both teams have gone over this number in 3 of the last 5 games. We also have winds blowing out into center field tonight as well. So don't care who wins, but I think we see a shootout here. Give me the over 9.5 as my second play. What's your third one?
Third play of the day, Dill. Let's go to Pittsburgh, Dill. Pittsburgh Pirates facing the Cincinnati Reds. Basically at a pick of minus 108 both sides right now. Over under sitting at 9.5, Dill. Give me the Cincinnati Reds at the pick of minus 108 on the money line. Shop around, people, because if they're both at a pick 'em, I guarantee there's a book out there that got them at plus money. You know, so shop around, people. I called it at minus 110. As of right now, it's minus 108. Give me the Reds on the road, Deal taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Wow. So for my third game, geez, I took them yesterday at minus 125. I'm looking at the number right now. They're minus 172. I don't really want to take them now, but they are the right side. Maybe you want to take them in on the run line because they are just an absolute wagon right now. And I'm talking about the Seattle Mariners. We'll head out west. Mariners hosting the Baltimore Orioles. Minus 172, like I said, for the Mariners on the money line. Plus 144 for the Baltimore Orioles. Over under is at 8. Yeah, don't look now, but the Mariners have won 10 of their last 11 games. They've won 10 in a row, and they're just 1 game out of the last slot in the AL wild card. So don't look now, but the Mariners are getting hot at the right time. Orioles just lost 2 of the last 3 to the Astros last week. And, you know, I just think the Mariners are going to keep it rolling, you know. I'm not a big Cole Irving fan. He's not really someone I want to back on the road. 0-2 with a 5.30 ERA. And I know he usually only goes the first inning or two as kind of like a spot starter, but I haven't liked what I've seen from the Orioles bullpen the past few days either, while the Mariners quietly have the second best bullpen in the majors. So George Kirby, he's a guy I want to back. He's a New Yorker. I'm a little biased because of that, but 6-3 at home this season. Batters are only hitting 220 off of him at home. He doesn't walk batters. He gets a lot of ground balls. Mariners 6-1 in his last 7 starts at home. I got the better pitcher and the hotter team. I got to side with the Mariners here. I took them, like I said, at minus 125. I wouldn't advise taking them now. Maybe you want to sprinkle a little on the run line, but I do think the Mariners are the right side here. So those are all my plays. Elvis, do you have any more?
Yeah, my final play of the day. They're another dog for the people, but I like my dog of the day is the Phillies still. Let's go to San Francisco. Texas Rangers taking on the San Francisco Giants still. Over under sitting at 8.5. Rangers are plus 108 on the money line. Giants minus 122. Haley on the mound for the Rangers. Cobb on the mound for the Giants. Still, give me the Texas Rangers plus 105 on the money line. Shop around people because I saw it go up to plus 108. This is another dog for me. I just gonna take the better team. I understand they're on the road, people, so it's gonna be a little harder. But I expect this Rangers team to keep moving forward and take care of business.
Yeah, I love that play. They took care of business last night. By the way, did I ever tell you how much I hate Apple TV games?
Bro,
Oh
I'm gonna be
my
honest.
God.
I was subscribed. I didn't even realize I was subscribed to Apple TV. I canceled it. I was
Oh,
getting charged.
I was going to ask if I could get the login.
I
Fuck.
I canceled it. What's on Apple TV anyway?
They do one game. I think they got a partnership with the MLB where they do one game a week, and it's a different team every week. And they'll, like yesterday was the San Francisco Giants and the Rangers on Apple TV. But apparently, I was reading an article that viewership is down in those games because, I would say, majority of the people in the world don't have Apple
No
TV.
TV. And I'll be honest,
So,
I had it and I canceled it when I realized I was
how
paying.
much are they charging?
I think it was $10 a month.
Oh yeah, they probably got you for a few months.
They probably got me for a year. I never knew I had it.
Oh my God, crooks! I'm telling you, how much are you paying for iPhone right now? And then
Oh
they just put it up. That should be included.
yeah, I have an Apple product. Y'all should give me this for free.
Wow, fair. I've lost the words. That's hilarious. But yeah, I hate Apple TV and that. Hopefully the NFL doesn't go over because I know they got to deal with Amazon, but everyone has an Amazon
And
account
YouTube.
and YouTube as well. So before we get to our interview, let me tell you guys a quick word from our sponsor. Today, we are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. No wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick, just like how we like our lives. Whether it's Huckleberry playing a round of golf with the boys or an elderberry on a Saturday early morning watching the EPL, it doesn't matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with that Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at the Dream Wager and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, here is our interview with Adam Rosenberg. Great interview with Adam over at Chalk Dog. He also comes on the SGPN network as well. You could catch him on VSiN as well with Jeff Parlins. But yeah, Adam's a great guy. I love, Philly guy living in Massachusetts. But, it's kind of, I love talking to him because he always has a different way of skinning the cat. Instead of doing the win total, he'll do division wins and at a nice plus price too. Over 4.5 division wins. He's fading Saquon, which we'll get to in a second when we talk about the G-Men. But overall, great talking to Adam. We'll definitely get him back on the podcast during the season. Hey, maybe when the Jets play the Eagles or something, me and him maybe go back and forth. But
Week 5, right? Week 5.
It should be a good one. But we'll start with the Eagles. You and I. Super Bowl odds plus 800 to win the NFC, plus 330. They have the best odds. Minus 115 to win the NFC East. Obviously, it's the best odds there. Win total at 11.5. Opened at 10.5. Now's moved to 11.5. and obviously they'll make the playoffs. But out of those four, how are you gonna skin this cat? We know Adam, he's gonna go over 4.5 divisional wins, which I do like, especially at that plus number. I think he said it was around plus 180. So I do think they sweep the Giants. I do think they sweep the Commanders, and I do think they'll split with the Cowboys. So I kind of like that because 11.5 just seems a little too big. Try to convince me otherwise.
11 and a half though is up there. It's up there. But coming off the season they had, still, it's not like they lost major production on the offensive side of the football. I understand they lost Hargrove on the defensive side, still, but they added some pieces. Jalen Carter, I think he's going to be phenomenal moving forward for the next 10 seasons. Jalen Carter coming off the linebacker, still. I'm not going to say this Eagles team is going to be better than last season. I just don't see a major drop off from last season, still. So, out of those four, my two favorite will have to be Eagles to win the division, minus 115.
Yeah, I like that play.
I think this is one of the best bets available right now for the number is that.
It's just low,
it,
right?
I'm not going to say it's low, though, because I feel like the Cowboys are right there that they should be plus money. At least plus 100 flat. Because I do respect the Cowboys enough. I think the Cowboys will be a little better, but I expect the Eagles still be elite. I still expect them to have a top 10 running game. I don't expect them to have the best rushing attack in the NFL, but I still expect them to be a top 10 rushing team. I expect Jalen Hurts to take that next step with his arm, Bill. We saw it throughout last season become that passing quarterback, Bill. I think we're going to see a little more moving that forward with Brian Johnson as the OC. And Dill, one other thing that I really like, Dill, I'm going to have to go with to reach the NFC Championship game at plus 160. I know you said winning the NFC. I got them going to the NFC Championship game at plus 160.
Yeah, I like that as well. There was even another special, minus 170, a little chalky. Don't really like to lay that much chalk for and tie my money up for that long. But Eagles to score 1+ touchdown in every game. I think I don't like to say the L word, but I think that's a lock as well. But yeah, that's my favorite play to win the NFC East at minus 115. I honestly thought it was going to open up a little bigger, maybe kind of like the Jags, just because they're coming off this amazing season. And granted, I don't think they'll have that good of a season, but like you said, they haven't fallen off that much. I was going to try to fade them this year because I thought they were going to regress, but let's go through their schedule, right? To try to get 12 games. They're favored in 15 games. We'll start with the first four. They start on the road against Indianapolis. Then they're at home.
They play us.
Yeah, on the road. Oh, I said Indianapolis. I apologize. Yeah. New England. New England on the road. Then they're home against Minnesota. Then they're on the road against Tampa Bay. And then they come back home against Washington. So I got them going 4-0 in that slot. How about you?
Damn, I got 3-1.
Okay, who can they slip up to?
Realistically, they could lose to the Patriots on the road week 1. I think that's going to be a tough game, especially with Brady being honored. You don't think so? I think so. I think it's going to be a tough matchup to win, Dill. And to be honest, I give the Commanders a shot. I do chalk it up as a win, but I give the Commanders a shot to upset them.
It's crazy because I think Minnesota is honestly tougher than both of them. So we'll see. Regardless, 4-1, 3-1, off to a good start.
I don't think Minnesota's going to be as good as they were last season.
Let's go through the next 5 weeks up until their bye. They're on the road in LA. Then they're on the road against the Jets. Then they're home against Miami, on the road against Washington, and at home. So I have 1, 2, 3. I got 4-1 right there. I got 4-1 right there. So I got them right now 8-1 going into the bye.
I got them losing to Washington, at Washington, and I got them 6-2, well 7-2.
7-2 going into the bye.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the next 4. And I think it gets a little harder after their bye. They're on the road in Arrowhead taking on the Chiefs. They're at home against Buffalo. They're at home against San Francisco, and then they're on the road against Dallas. I see a 2-2. I see 2-2 right there. So I have 10-3 right now. How
Dill,
about
they
you?
could they I'll lean with the 2-2 deal. I'll lean with the 2-2 deal, but it wouldn't shock me if they lose three of those four. Like they could lose to Kansas City, they could lose to Buffalo, they could lose to 49ers. And they could lose at Dallas. I doubt they lose all four deal, but there's a chance they lose three.
Yeah, there's two of them are primetime games as well. You got Arrowhead on a Monday night football, and then Sunday night football you have at Dallas. And then the last four games, you're on the road with the six man in Seattle. Then you're home against the Giants, home against Arizona, and then you finish at MetLife. 2, 3. I see another 4 wins. So 14-3, I have them
You really
finishing.
got them going 14-3.
Yeah, I think they finished with the same record as last year. I mean, they're favored in 15 games. Like we mentioned it, their defense, I don't think dropped a beat. Even if you lose Javon Hargrave, they got Jalen Carter was a steal at number 9 in the draft. They got another Georgia national champion in Nolan Smith, who's just going to rotate with Nakobe Dean and Hassan Reddick. I like their linebacker. They have Darius Slay and Bradbury. Yeah, we all know Bradbury got beat with the hold and whatnot, but I like their secondary as well. And their offensive line is amazing. Running back room, I worry about a little, but Adam even said it as well. And I think he convinced me. They have maybe 2 top 10, top 15 receivers in Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. And don't forget Dallas Goedert as well. So this team really doesn't have that many holes. And I think Nick Sirianni, as much as people give him shit for and think he's weird, I think he is a good coach. And Jalen Hurts is just a dog. He's a winner wherever he goes. So, yeah, I got them going 14-3. Even if you want to give them another game or two, I still have them going over 11.5 wins. So I got to take it at plus money as well.
Dill, I'm going under. I'm going under 11 and a half. I count exactly 11 wins, and I've taken the
Well,
exactly
what was
11.
your last four? Because you had them at 10 and something at one point. Then we had 4 games. You think they lose 3 of the last 4?
No, I'm saying I think they lose three out of 4 against between November 5th and December 10th. I think they lose 3 in those 5 weeks. They lose 3 games.
Against who?
Kansas City, Bills, 49ers, Cowboys. They
All
face
4 they lose.
no 3 out of the 5 weeks.
And
They
then
lose.
what's the last 4?
I think the Giants could upset them once. I think the Commanders could upset them once, and I think
Well,
the
they don't
Patri-
play the Commanders the last 4 weeks.
no, but I'm saying total.
I know, no, but Seattle, Arizona, they're not slipping up in those games.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
said Giants.
But even if they split those, I feel like 11.5 is just crazy not to go over. The average line, they're favored in every game besides the one game, and it's on the road against Arrowhead, against the Chiefs. The average line is 4.5. They're favored. So it's not even like they're favored by a field goal. They're favored by 4.5 points in every game. And
Yeah,
they have a lot of rest advantage against their team, against their opponents as well. So
I just because I like don't get me wrong. I respect you and Adam's opinion 100%. I just don't see them being as good as they were last. Last year they were almost all time. They tied the NFL all time lead season lead in sacks. Do you understand that? Only
yeah,
the 85 Chicago Bears had more sacks than the 2022 Philadelphia Eagles. Do you expect them to to be set another record at all time sacks? I don't. I don't
maybe.
expect them to be number 1 in rushing. I don't see it being number 1 in rushing. I still expect them to be a top 10 rushing team, possibly even top 5, but be number 1 in rushing, be the number 1 sack team again. I don't see it, Bill.
I think they're a top 5 rushing team, especially with that offense. I think they have the best offensive line in the league. So I think,
Them or Cleveland do for sure. Top
yeah,
5, yeah, top 3
I
definitely.
I I see some regression, but I don't know. You got to factor Jalen Hurts is going to run the ball as well, and I don't think we'll see that big of
Dill,
a drop off
do
on
you
defense.
are you sure he's gonna run the ball after getting $260 million?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
That's that's just his game, and that's
If
the way
I'm
Sirianni calls the plays.
I understand, Dill, but if I give him if I'm the front office, I just gave that man 60 million a year. He's not running the ball as much as he
I
did
feel
last season.
like in the NFL it's a little harder to control these kids. I shouldn't even call them kids,
No,
younger
but
players on how to play their game. That's all he knows how to play.
no, I understand, cuz. But how many design runs we saw last season? A lot.
A lot. And I
We're
think we're
not
going
gonna
to
see.
continue that.
We're not gonna see as many of those this season. I guarantee it.
We'll see, but the weakest part in their team is their running back room because they did lose Miles Sanders, but they replaced him with DeAndre Swift, which is another very good running back as well. Speaking of player props, we'll start with Jalen Hurts and the quarterback position. Passing touchdowns, 21 and a half. Passing yards, 3,625 and a half. Any of those two you like?
Still, I'm gonna go over passing yards. Still, 3,625 and a half. Like I said, I expect this offense to change directions. I expect them to turn into a more passing offense with the new OC. Jalen got that big contract. I don't expect him to run the ball as much as he did last season, even the previous season before that. So I like Jalen over 3,600 and a half, 25 and a half passing yards. I even like his passing touchdowns as well, Dill. But we know how when the Eagles get into the goal line, like that 1st and 5, 1st and 4 in the goal line, you already know they're gonna punch the ball 3 times straight running the ball. So that's my thing. Don't get me wrong. I do expect Jalen to throw a ton of touchdowns, but when it's the goal line 1st and 5, 1st and 4, I just know Sirianni is just gonna force running the ball down there. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just lean more with the yards. I do like the touchdowns as well, but I'm not gonna bet it.
I like the yards much more than I do touchdowns. Even last year when he had a breakout season, he only had 22 touchdowns.
Yeah.
His passing yards is sitting, like I said, at 3,625. He got 3,700 last season. He's
And he missed
thrown.
2 games. He missed 2 games,
He's
by the
missed
way.
2 games his entire career. 2020, he's played 15 games. 2021, 15 games, and 2022, 15 games. So yeah, I like the passing yards just because, and I don't think the offense is going to change that much. Yeah, it's a new OC, but he's been with the team forever. He was the quarterback coach last year, Brian Johnson. So a lot of familiarity with him, Jalen Hurts. And we were talking about rushing. Thinking he's not going to rush as much. Every year he's gone up, and not just carries in yards, in average per yards, touchdowns. So I don't think we're going to see a little drop off with rushing. In 2022, he carried the ball 63 times. In 2021, he carried the ball 140 times. And last season, he carried the ball 170 times.
That's
So,
wild.
yeah.
That's
And
wild.
yeah, so I just don't see it. So yeah, I like the overpassing passing yards because I definitely could see them airing the ball out a little more this season. But passing touchdowns, I think I would stay away from. Speaking of DeAndre Swift, his rushing yards over 525 and a half. His rushing touchdowns is set at 4.5. Any of these props you like?
Nah, Dill. Just because I have a feeling Gainwell. It just I don't know who's gonna be the starter. I
Mhm.
like Gainwell. You like Boston Scott. I like Boston Scott as well.
Adam likes Penny.
Exactly. So I'm not gonna bet a running back prop just because I don't know who's the starter. Like, if it was Gainwell, I like Gainwell to be the starter. Adam likes Penny. You like Bart Scott. So we all have different opinion who should be the starter. I like Gainwell the most just because I feel like he can run it and catch it from the backfield. But still, to be honest, I'm gonna stay away from the running backs just because I don't know who's gonna be getting the number one starting job. Or
Yeah,
it might
no,
just be a three-headed monster, something like we see like the Patriots run.
yeah. I mean, I honestly I would go over both to be honest. Even if they do split time, 525 yards is a little
It's little. Yeah.
disrespectful. His first year in the league, he rushed for 521. He needed 5 more yards. Second year in 2021. Meanwhile, this is all with Detroit Lions. Not as good of an offensive line as the Philadelphia Eagles. 2021, he rushed for 617 yards. And then last year, he rushed for 542. So,
And he wasn't the starter last year, by the way,
and
people.
he's missed time in every season. His rookie year only played 13 games. 2021, where he had his best year, 13 games. Last season, only 14 games. He's gone over his rushing touchdown at 4.5 at plus money every year. Rookie year, he had 8 touchdowns, and he's had 5 touchdowns in back-to-back years. So I think in the goal line, yes, there's also the option of a read option with Jalen Hurts bringing the ball in. I understand that. But 4.5 just seems too small for a guy they went out to try to replace a Miles Sanders. So I got to go over both for DeAndre Swift. I think the numbers are just a little low. So if you're giving me plus money here, I have to take it. Let's go to the receiving room. Now you got a lot of mouths to feed. Like I mentioned, best wide receiver on the team, AJ Brown. His receiving yards, 1,125. Dallas Goedert, 700.5. And then Devontae Smith, his receiving yards is at 925.5. Any of those you like?
I ended up touching 2 from it, Dill. Give me AJ Brown over 8.5 receiving touchdowns, Dill. I do like his, receiving yard prop as well, Dill. But I'm just more confident in him in the touchdown number just because I think he's the number 1 target come red zone. So AJ's the big body. He could jump over. He's 6'3", 6'4". He could jump. High point the ball, Dill. And to be honest, we saw it late in the season, come the playoff, even the Super Bowl. He was trying to find AJ Brown a little more. I think that connection built a little bit, especially throughout the season, Dill. So I expect him to find AJ Brown over 8.5 receiving touchdowns. It wouldn't shock me. He gets up somewhere in the double digits.
It's at plus 110 too. So if you do like the plus
Yeah.
money, last year he had it was obviously his best year. I played every game. He caught 88 catches for 1,496, basically 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns. He hasn't had 11 touchdowns since 2020, where he went over 1,000 yards.
And that was Ryan Tannehill's best season ever.
And he only played 14 games. He has missed time, A.J. Brown. He only played 14 games in 2019, 14 games 2020, 13 games in 2021. Last year, he was finally able to stay healthy. So I could see it. The only year, his rookie year, he had 8 touchdowns in 2021, where he only played 13 games. He only had 5 touchdowns. The number seems right. It seems right at 8.5. I could definitely see him going over. I guess I would lean over his receiving yards more than I would his touchdowns. 1,100, I think, is a little disrespectful for a guy like AJ Brown. So I would lean over there if anything. Dallas Goedert, I'm gonna pass. I'm really not high on Dallas Goedert, to be honest. I mean, he's only gone over this number he's gone over in back-to-back years, but last year he got 702 yards. So he barely went over this number. And this is another guy that misses a lot of time. 2018, 15 games. 2019, 15 games. 2020, 11. 2021, 15. Last season, 12 games. He misses a lot of time sometimes. So that's why I would kind of stay away from him. He's an injury away from going under this number. So I would lean under Dallas Goedert. Any opinion on him?
Still, I like Dallas Goedert. He won me a Super Bowl last season. Even with that injury, he ended up missing the last few weeks of the season. Still, he's great. My question is he gonna be healthy through the whole season? That's my thing.
Yeah.
I think when healthy, I think Jalen and him have a pretty good connection. He was on his way to go over that number last season by a mile. Deal. It's just he ended up getting hurt. So I ended up staying away from it just because, though, I like the 2 receivers a little more. I expect Devontae and AJ to get most of the passing load. So you know Dallas Goedert, he's good, though. It's just I don't trust him to be healthy all 17 games still. So
Yeah.
with that being said, I have one more player prop for this team. Give me Devontae Smith over 925.5 receiving yards still. I just think this number is too low. I expect Devontae to be 1,000-yard receiving this season in the upcoming season. I think him and Jalen Hurts just gonna keep building a bond connect together. And like Adam said earlier, Dill, they might just have 2 top 10 wide receivers. Still, I'm not gonna go that far yet, but I'm not gonna argue it. You know.
No, I agree. And if they're not there, they're right there.
Yeah, they're right
Devontae
there.
Smith is taking that next step. I think AJ Brown is a top 10 receiver.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Devontae Smith, he's only been in the league 2 years, but last season, and frankly, knock on wood, he's never missed a game in his 2 year career, thankfully. So these Alabama receivers, man, there's something. You know, you mentioned it a few pods ago. Ever since Amari Cooper, these Alabama receivers are something special. His first year, he caught 64 balls for 916 yards, and he was just one game away from going over that number. If he had another game, he would have went over that. And then last season, 1,196, basically 1,200 yards. He improved by almost 300 yards. And both years he had 5 touchdowns and 7 touchdowns, and right now his touchdown prop is at 5.5. I gotta go over everything. I agree. I think he's 1,000-yard receiver. I think he is going to continue to improve, take that next step. And a lot of eyes are going to be on A.J. Brown. And look in the Super Bowl, Devontae Smith caught that nice pass down the sideline. He is a deep threat. He's going to beat you down the field. So I love Devontae Smith. I think eventually he's going to be better than A.J. Brown. I just think he's more explosive. I like A.J. Brown's route running. I think it's so crisp. When healthy, A.J. Brown's like Amari Cooper. They have one of the best route running abilities. But I like Devontae Smith a lot. I'm going to go over his receiving yards, and I'm also going to go over his receiving touchdowns at 5.5. Any defensive props you like for this team?
Dill, a juicy one, Dill. Give me Jalen Carter.
Wow.
Or Nolan Smith. Either or, people. Either or. To win Defensive Rookie of the Year at plus 500. I like Jalen Carter, people, a lot. If you like Jalen Carter by himself, put it on it. But you get 2 for the price of 1. So you get Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith plus 500. Either or got a 1 Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, defensive rookie. Okay, I was doing defensive player of the year, and I was sitting there like, yo, I can't find either of them. Jalen Carter plus 750. He has the second best odds right now. And then Nolan Smith plus 2,000, 20-1. I don't hate it because, like Adam said, they're going to be rotating a lot of people, especially on that D line and that linebacker group. They are deep.
Dude, all it takes, say, for example, Jalen Carter's out there. He goes, let's just say he gets 10 sacks.
Yeah.
That's his award to lose.
Yeah.
If he goes out there and goes 8 sacks, Eagles win the division. Unless Will Anderson goes for like
that's what I was gonna say.
160 tackles, 10 sacks, 3 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries. You know, you got.
That's what I was gonna say. If Will Anderson just bugs out in Houston, then I think he might run away with it. But no, I do like Jalen Carter. I think it's worth a flyer at plus 750. I'm surprised you didn't touch your boy Christian Gonzalez at 11-1. I think it's tough for him in year 1.
It's gonna be tough for a corner to win that award, Dill.
We saw it last year.
Yeah, you're right, Dill. But back-to-back corners, I give him a shot, Dill. But I think Jalen Carter, Will, and Anderson, that's their award to lose.
Yeah, 100%. So we're pretty aligned, I guess we could say, in the Giants, besides the win total. But it wouldn't surprise you. Last thing, it wouldn't surprise you if they did go over it, correct?
No.
Okay.
I'm just saying, Dill, last year. I want people to understand this. I want you to understand this.
I understand.
They had the all-time NFL record in sacks in a season. I'm going to repeat that one more time. They had the NFL all-time record in sacks last season. They tied it. No other team, only one other team in NFL history, 100-plus seasons, had more sacks than the 2022 Philadelphia Eagles. Want to start that right there. Just want to make sure everybody understands that.
And I think that's kind of the reason why I'll be fading this next team, the G-Men, New York Giants. We will transition to them, the other team that plays at Jet Life. Super Bowl to win the Super Bowl.
I'm not going to let you disrespect them like that because they have won a Super Bowl in your lifetime, and that's called MetLife.
It's Jet Life.
Exactly.
Super Bowl
40 playoff games to get
48-1, NFC 22-1. The NFC East, they have the third best odds at plus 700. Their win total is at 7.5. To make the playoffs is at plus money. To not make the playoffs, minus 210. There ain't no way they're making the playoffs this year. I'll tell you that much right now. We'll start with the win total. 7.5. This is my favorite play of the show. I got to go under 7.5 at minus 114. I just don't like how their schedule is set up for them. They have 5 games where they have a rest disadvantage. They also play 4 games in a 5-week stretch where their opponents have over 6 days of rest. They're going to come into those games beat up. And they were extremely lucky last season. 8-4-1 in one-score games. They improved their turnover differential and their turnover margin to positive under Brian Dable last season. But like your point you made with the Philadelphia Eagles, I think that's going to be so hard to replicate. 4 of their first 5 wins, 5 of them came in games that they trailed or tied at halftime. They were also 2-7 against teams finishing with a winning record. That's the worst by any playoff team last season. So their offensive line is a bottom 5 offensive line. That's a huge concern for me. Their offensive line last year finished 26th in run block and 29th in pass block. Now, this year, the Giants, their schedule, they face the most difficult opposing defenses out of any team. So I don't like their receivers. I like the upgrade at tight end with Darren Waller, but that's not really going to put you over the hump, to be honest. Their secondary scares me. I like Dable and this culture he set, but they decided to pay the quarterback after being good for 1 hour. So I don't like this team at all. I think they're going to regress mightily, and I think Saquon's going to leave after this season. So favorite play, Giants under the win total 7.5. Giants to miss the playoffs as well. What do you like here?
Damn, Dill. I'm not gonna say it pains me to say this, though, but I'm gonna have to agree. You know, I put it like this: I give them a better shot to make the playoffs than to go over win total, people. And hear me out on why. I just feel like the NFC is going to be a little weak. So, we could see a under 500 team possibly make that 7th seed, like we see in recent years. There's always possibly one team that makes the playoffs who shouldn't be in the playoffs, but they somehow make it. Deal. So, can the Giants win exactly 7 games and sneak in at 7-10? Deal, possibly. The NFC is kind of weak this year, so I don't think they'll make the playoffs, but it wouldn't shock me if they were able to sneak in at 7 wins, though. Because guess what? I have them winning 7 games, though. I think they get to 7 games. So give me under win total and give me to win exactly 7 games at plus 900. You could try 6 games. But I do think they'll get to 7 wins. They'll win exactly 7 games at plus 900.
Yeah, just looking at their schedule again, they just got a really tough schedule. And
Yeah,
like I said, it's against really good defenses, Cowboys, 49ers, Seahawks, Miami, Buffalo. And I know Washington doesn't really have a good offense, but their defense is really good. They were good last season. The Jets, the New England Patriots, they have a good defense. The Saints on the road. Like they just have a killer schedule. And at first, I only counted 4 or 5 wins, to be honest. But then I was like, nah, they'll
that's
probably
wild.
win it.
That's wild.
Nah, I just don't see it. Like I just
No,
don't
I
see it.
know,
Their
but because
offensive,
you don't either. I agree with you. I don't expect to see the same Giants team from last season, but you think it's going to be that much of regress?
yeah, I
Like
do. Just
5 games?
no, not 5 games because they went 9 and
No, no,
7.
no.
I
But that's
think
what I'm
they
saying. You
like
said you
3
counted.
games.
I
Like
say
3 games. So
you
I
said you count.
counted it again and then I gave them a game or 2 and but I still couldn't get 8 wins out of it.
Yeah, nah. I didn't get 8 wins.
Like even
Even if
the
I give them
rookie.
one.
The rookie I like, I think his name is Devontae Banks, the cornerback from Maryland. He was a great corner in Maryland, but Adoree Jackson, he gets exposed. Adoree Jackson is not good at all. So they have 2 new safeties. They worry me as well. I just think against some of these offenses, like they're just not going to be able to stop them. Like if, for example, on the road in Miami, if Tua stays healthy, they're going to put up 40 points on them. Like
I wouldn't go there that far, but they should score points. Yeah, I agree.
Dallas, 49ers, we'll see with Brock Purdy and all, but I just see a lot of these teams putting up a lot of points and them not being able to reciprocate that and match their points. Like if they put it in a dogfight and make the game ugly, yeah, they have a chance to win. But I just don't see many of their games. Maybe Green Bay, maybe at home against the Rams. I think they beat Las Vegas. It is on the road, but I still think Vegas is a shit fire right now. I think they split a game with Washington. They beat Arizona, but like that's like 5 wins, 5, 6 wins. So yeah, I can't get over. They're only favored in 5 games, and they're underdogs in 11 games. So their average line, they're a dog in 2.6. Their average line this season. So they're 2.5 point dogs in most of their games. So it's basically telling you that they haven't gone over this win total in since 2018-17. So it's been a while since they've won 8 games or no, gotten double digits. That's what I meant to say, because they did go over this win total last year. They went 9-7-1. But yeah, other than that, 2021 they went 4-13. 2020 they went 6-10. 2019 they had 4 wins. So it's been a while. It was a good year. I think Brian Daboll is the right coach. I love Brian Daboll. I think that's the best thing for Daniel Jones. But I just don't think Daniel Jones is going to have that a good of a year as he did. And we will start with Daniel Jones. Over under 17.5 passing touchdowns. His passing yards is at 3,200.5. And even his rushing yards, 550.5. We'll start with his passing first. Anything you like there? Passing touchdowns, passing yards?
Dill, give me the over passing touchdowns at 17 and a half, Dill.
Mm.
If this man doesn't go out there and he's throw for 20, 24, somewhere around that range, Dill, to me, he didn't deserve to get $40 million a year. The fact that it's at 17 and a half, I wouldn't say it's disrespectful, but
He didn't
come
do
on.
it last season.
I know, Dill, but come on. I expect Daniel Jones to be a little better passing the ball. I expect to at least go out there and throw for at least 20 touchdowns, Dill. Minimum 20. I expect him to be around like 23, 24, 25.
Yeah, I'd have to go under this passing touchdowns. He's only did it in his rookie season in 2019 where he had 24 touchdowns, but 2021 or 2020, 11, 2021, 10, last season, 15. And let's not forget, Daniel Jones misses game every year. His rookie year, he played 13. 2020, played 14. 2021, 11. Last season, 16. So there are a lot of games where he doesn't get it. I honestly would go
Well,
over it.
he sat out the week 17. They already clinched.
Yeah. Hurts us in the future market if we decide to take anything. So that just relaying that. But even if his passing yards 3,200, he got over it last season by 5 yards.
Yeah.
Now, do I think the problem with me passing on everything with Daniel Jones is just because I don't think he has the weapons outside of Darren Waller. You got Hodgins on the right side. You have Paris Campbell, shout out Ohio State, in the slot. And then you have Slayton, and he's already dealing with an injury during camp. They said he'll be ready for, shocker there. So we'll see if he's ready for week 1, but I just don't see where he throws the ball to be honest. I do like Tyrod Taylor as their backup quarterback, though. He's a good veteran that could come in and compete if Daniel Jones winds up getting hurt. But honestly, I like his rushing yards, if anything, over 550. I think he is a good rushing quarterback. We saw him he rushed for 700 yards. And like Jalen Hurts, he's improved every year. So his rookie year, he had 45 carries for 300 yards. 2020, he had 65 carries for 450 yards. It's progressively going up. 2021, 65 carries again for over 300 yards. And then last season, he had 120 carries for over 700 yards. So 500 seems a little small. So 550 yards, I think he gets 600, maybe 650 again. And God forbid Saquon does get hurt, not wishing injury on anyone, but if he does miss some time, they need a running back. They're going to have Daniel Jones run the ball. There are so many designed quarterback runs in this offense that Brian Daboll sets up. So I like his rushing yards over anything. Do you have any opinion on his rushing yards?
Now, Dale, do I expect them to go over the mark? Yeah, just because, like you alluded to earlier, the offensive line is atrocious. So I think he's gonna have to make some plays with his legs when the play breaks down, Dill. So we saw Daniel Jones. He had that blooper reel, I think his rookie season, when he had like that
Yeah.
90 yard touchdown. He fell at the 5 yard line.
Tripped on
We,
turf.
yeah, like the kid got legs.
Yeah.
It's just, would he go over that number? Deal. I'm gonna lean it. I'm not gonna bet it just because I
Yeah.
expect him to run an offense, but that offensive line is so bad. I think he will average around 20 to 30, maybe 40 yards a game just for him running for his life. Getting 5-8 yards. Heading towards the sideline.
Yeah, and they're trying to rebuild it with Dable. They drafted the rookie out of Minnesota, John Michael Schmidt, in the second round. He's going to be their starting center. You got Evan Neal, they drafted last season at right tackle.
Who was
They have
disappointing?
very disappointing. We thought we were like, damn, he's going to be good, and he did not. He got exposed last season.
Yeah.
Now they have Andrew Thomas, who is good on the left side. He got that big extension at left tackle. So I would say they have one good offensive line and a lot of people that have to prove it. They have a rookie at center. They have a disappointment first-round pick at right tackle as well. At right guard, they have Glanskowski, but he's over 35 years old. I don't know how long he has left in the league. So they're hurting at offensive line. It worries me a little bit. Speaking of Saquon Barkley, during our interview, that was Adam's best bet, fading Saquon, not having 1,000 yards. And to be honest, I mean, I have to agree, just because I don't trust this offensive line. And there was so much that Saquon had to do last season. Thankfully, he was healthy all year. He rushed for 1,300 yards. But prior to that, he's missed time in every season besides his rookie year, where he won offensive rookie of the year. He rushed for 1,300 yards. But outside of that, 500 yards, 34 yards. He only played 2 games that season. And then in 2019, 1,002 yards. He went over it by 2 yards. So I think he's going to regress a little this season. I don't trust that offensive line, and I think a lot is going to be put on Saquon. And I think, to be honest, he's going to get to a point where you pay Daniel Jones, he's regressed a little. Y'all should have paid me. And I think his mind's going to check out a little. So I'm going to fade Saquon and agree with Adam. I'm going to go under 1,500 rushing yards. How about you?
Same, Dill. I gotta have to agree with Adam and you, Dill. I just don't expect Saquon to rush for 1,000 just because I expect him to play 17 games. I expect Saquon on a franchise tag. If his ankle's a little sore come game day, guess what? He's not going to suit up. If he has a slight cough or cold, guess what? He's not going to suit up. You wanted to franchise tag me, so guess what? Maybe I'm not available for every game if I'm not feeling 100%. If I'm Saquon Barkley, I'm not feeling at least 95%. I'm not getting on the field. Remember, you guys franchised me. If y'all give me a contract, I'll play when I'm feeling 80, 90%.
Yeah.
But if I ain't feeling 100%, I'm not getting on that field. And I expect to see a lot of, Saquon not playing in games. No, you're wrong. Not saying he's going to sit out. All I'm saying is if his ankle is a little sore, he's not playing the game.
100%, and I don't think he should, just because the money is a huge part of it. Why are you going to risk? We saw with Tony Pollard, literally the last game where he went down and it affected him getting a contract. And I think Saquon deserved a contract after last season, to be honest, because I think he's been, and I don't want to keep recycling this, but he's proven more in the time in the Giants organization than Daniel Jones. But I understand from a business perspective why you would pay the quarterback than a running back. But I just think when Saquon's good, he's the motor to this offense. Without him, I think Daniel Jones regressed, and I think you could agree with that as well, right?
Absolutely, Dill. Like we saw the last 2 seasons, we saw a non-healthy Saquon in 2021. Daniel Jones led the league in turnovers. Saquon played 16 plus games in 2022. Guess what? Daniel Jones has a positive turnover ratio for the first time of his career. So I think without a healthy Saquon, there's no productive Daniel Jones. Let's just
Yeah. And if you look at his rushing touchdowns, it's set at 7.5. I'd have to lean under that as well. I mean, he's only gone over this in 2 out of the 5 years, his rookie year and last year, which were his best years of his career, where he rushed for 1,300 yards in both of those years and had double-digit touchdowns. Those were his best 2 years, his rookie season and last season. So other than that, 0, where he only played 2 games, 2 touchdowns in 2021, 2019, he had 6. I got to go under here. 7.5 seems a little too big. Don't you agree?
I'm not gonna agree on you that one though, just because I think Saquon could go over that number if he plays 12 to 14 games. Still, I still feel like Saquon has enough behind him to do it in just a matter of like 10, 12 games. So it would have shocked me if Saquon has 10 rushing touchdowns this season. Absolutely not, though.
No, no.
It would shock me more if he goes over rushing total than touchdown, because he could get two. Think about it. For example, if Giants just got a strip six, not a
Yeah.
strip. They just got a strip, and they got the ball at the 12-yard line. Surcock runs it in. I have a feeling he's gonna get a lot of cheap touchdowns. I'm not to call him cheap,
Yeah.
but
No.
it won't be a mission to get the touchdown.
Yeah, no, I agree, especially down at the goal line, just punching it in. You don't want to turn the ball over down at the red zone in the
So
red zone.
and you at the 10-yard line, 5-yard line, because who you want throwing the ball in the end zone or rushing the ball in the end zone? You want Daniel Jones or you want Saquon?
I want Saquon with the ball in my hands. It's like the analogy, and I hate to use it. Shout out Joe and the Seahawks, but in the Super Bowl, you gotta give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. And that I know Russ is a Hall of Famer. I know we like to shit on him on this show, but he was good. It's just in that situation, you gotta give the ball to Marshawn Lynch. So no, I think that's a great point as well. And the only receiver we could take advantage on is Darren Waller. No receiving touchdowns. His receiving yards, 625 and a half. Seems a little low for a top 5 tight end, I would say. I know he only played 9 games last season, but even in 2020 and 2021, or even 2019, he had 1,100 yards in 2019. 2020, he had 1,200 yards. In 2021, 665. And he's missed time in every game. So I kind of like Darren Waller over 600 because he is going to be the number one, especially if Darius Slayton misses some time. I think the quarterback's best friend besides running back is a tight end. It's their check down, and I think he's going to take advantage. He's never had a tight end like this before. So 625 yards, I think I got to go over this. How about you?
Still, same. Give me Waller over. I understand the number is so short just because it's injury history. How many games are we going to? Are we going to get 8 games? Are we going to get 10 games? Are we going to get 14 plus games? And I'm telling you right now, Darren Waller's in there for 12 plus games. I can see him go over in this number easily just at 12, 13 games played. So give me Waller over. I expect him to be possibly the number one wide receiver target. Even though he's a tight end, he might just be the number one target offensively besides Saquon.
Yeah, and all the videos and reports that I'm reading out of the Giants camp is they can't we like to joke on their defense, but their defense can't guard Darren Waller right now, and deservingly so. I mean, like I said, when healthy, he's a top 5 tight end.
I can make the case he's the best tight end in the division. He is.
Yeah, I had to think about who else the tight ends were. Yeah, I like Lane Thomas a little, but he's not as bad. Dallas Goedert, yeah, he's another guy that gets hurt a lot. And then who's the tight end for the Cowboys? That's the guy you had.
Nah, he ended up signing to the Texans.
Oh, that's right.
Schultz.
Yeah, Dallas Schultz.
Yeah.
But right now I'm looking at their Jake Ferguson is the number 1 tight end. Yeah, he's definitely the best tight end for in the division. But he does get hurt. So that's a huge question mark. Hopefully he does stay on, because if he goes down and Saquon doesn't play, well, but that's going to do it. We took care of the NFC East. Where should we go? NFC North next? I think NFC North's a very interesting division.
We could go north. We could go west. I think
I'm saving the West for last because I think the West is very interesting. The NFC South is awful. Let's be honest.
Let's do the South for next, and then finish the last 2 with a bang. North and West.
Good call. But you were mentioning before we go, some plans this weekend. What's on the agenda? Another birthday.
Another birthday party. This time at my house. So happy birthday to a mom alike. A lady that's always been sweet to me, almost like a mom to me, Jessie Lasagna. Happy belated birthday. Her birthday was last week, but we're celebrating this week. Chris's son, my little cousin Devin, was at Cooperstown getting right, representing Team New Jersey.
Saw that.
So,
he was hitting bombs too.
He had like 4 home runs, 3 home runs.
I know, and I love the little bat flip. Shout out Devin, man.
Right, shout out Devin, man.
And happy birthday to his mother as well. And yeah, any last words, E, before hey, we hit 625 followers on
Oh,
Twitter. We're trying to get to 1,000. Elvis said he'll do a giveaway if we get to 1,000.
I'll be doing a giveaway to 1,000 people. Hold on, let's see.
Any teasers, anything you could
Let's
give
go.
away?
I'm not gonna
Oh,
give up. I'm not gonna
oh,
give
I'm
up.
about to say you gotta
I'm
stop
not,
flexing.
I ain't gonna give out 1,000, but this is $1,000 right here, people. So when we get to 1,000 followers, I will give some of this away. Some of it away. This
Z
is a thousand
player,
dollars to represent 1,000 followers. I'm
Z
not gonna
player.
give away 1,000, but
Yeah.
I will give some money to. We're gonna have some type of contest when we reach 1,000. Maybe like like, comment, share, subscribe, something like that. And if you qualify, your boy E gonna send you a little something.
100%. I love that, E. Z Player, go tell everyone in the Pacific Northwest to go and follow us. And that's going to do it for this edition of the Dream Wager. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Elvis, myself, we'll see you guys on Monday. So, like Elvis said, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at the Dream Wager. You can find all of our episodes if you missed them wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. On YouTube, youtube.com/the Dream Wager. Like, subscribe, give us a review. All that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend. Everyone have a great weekend. Good luck on your wagers. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.